And our top story this hour, the urgent manhunt continues for a 26-year-old man in Hertfordshire wanted in connection with a triple murder.
Officers are asking the public not to approach Kyle Clifford, who may still be armed with a crossbow, and to contact police immediately if they see him. Chief Superintendent John Simpson gave us this update in the past hour.
Good afternoon. I'm Chief Superintendent John Simpson, Head of Local Policing for Hertfordshire Constabulary. Police were called to a property in Ashland Close just before 7 p.m. last night. Officers attended alongside colleagues from the East of England Ambulance Service and, on arrival, found 3 women with serious injuries. Sadly, despite their best efforts, the women, who are believed to be related, died a short time later at the scene. The victims are aged 25, 28 and 61. Our overarching objective today is to protect public safety and to locate Kyle Clifford, who is wanted in connection with the murder of the 3 women in what we believe is a targeted incident. We have extensive police resources deployed to various locations in North London and also the Bushey area of Hertfordshire. The manhunt also involves armed police officers and specialist search teams responding at pace in the wake of what has been an horrific incident, involving what is currently believed to be a crossbow, but other weapons may also have been used. If members of the public see Kyle Clifford, they urge not to approach him at any point and to dial 999 immediately. Kyle, if you're seeing or hearing this, please make contact with the police via 999. Beyond the immediate search operation, a major crime inquiry has been launched, and we also appeal to the public for any information in relation to the incident. This incident will be, of course, of concern to local residents. Additional local officers will be in the area today, so please do speak to them if you need to. You can report information online at hearts.police.uk/report, via web chat at hearts.police.uk/contact, or call 101 quoting Op in Fauna. Alternatively, you can stay 100% anonymous by contacting the independent charity Crime Stoppers on 0800 555 111 or via their untraceable online form at crimestoppers-uk.org. Thank you.
Right, well, there you go. That was the Chief Superintendent outside the Hertfordshire Police there. Let's cross now to our reporter, Theo Jacomba, who's at the scene in Bushey. Theo, what do we know about the victims and also the prime suspect?
Well, we've just found out those key details in the last 40 minutes about the ages of the 3 women who died here at the scene, aged 25, 28 and 6. Related, but not related to Kyle Clifford, the 26-year-old man that is Constabulary and the Met Police. We understand he is from the Enfield area in North London, so there are a number of searches which are taking place in various parts of London and right across Hertfordshire. We've seen helicopters, we've seen police, huge presence here, but no doubt more police presence right across those areas which they are looking for this suspect. Now, this is a quiet area. Many people come here to retire. There are families here, and there are those we've spoken to who have lived here for decades and they've never seen.
Theo, I'm afraid we've lost some connection there, but of course Theo Jacomba, our reporter, was on the scene live in Bushey in Hertfordshire, not far from North London. Well, this is, of course, a deeply concerning case for many people across the country. This manhunt isn't limited to that area. It's around the country. We don't know where this individual is. But let's speak to the former police officer and managing director of the Public Safety Foundation, Oliver Lawrence. Because, Oliver, the public will be fearing for their safety.
Yeah, they will, Tom. Good afternoon, Emily. Yeah, the police will be doing everything they can to ensure public safety. That'll be their #1 priority at the moment, ensuring that Mr. Clifford is brought into custody safely, as wanted in connection with the deaths of those 3 poor women in Bushey in Hertfordshire. Number of priorities going on for police at the moment, supporting the families of those ladies that have deceased this morning will be another priority for them. Homicides are horrific events, and when 3 people lose their lives in such a horrendous incident, it's important that police support families as well as processing what will be a very complex crime scene.
And we understand the 3 female victims of this triple murder were all related. What does this sound like to you in terms of the background of this, the relation perhaps with the perpetrator?
Well, not wanting to assume any of the police hypotheses in terms of their investigation, but obviously it does look to be like a domestically related violent attack by Mr. Clifford, allegedly involved in this matter against three women. A tragic set of circumstances in a very quiet cul-de-sac in a part of Hertfordshire. Looking at residents and their comments, everyone was taken by surprise. The area swarmed on by police late last night, and obviously at the moment there are police cordoning off the area and armed police, both from London's Metropolitan Police and Hertfordshire Constabulary, patrolling the area, trying to locate Mr. Clifford as soon as they possibly can.
Now, with cases like this, do we expect the perpetrator might be still in the area, return to the scene of the crime, or frankly, should the police be casting a wider net?
In my experience, Tom, offenders of this nature often go to places of comfort and will generally stay within the surrounds of where they are familiar with. But equally, Mr. Clifford will be very stressed, highly emotive at the moment. His actions are totally unpredictable. And as you quite rightly say, he may be anywhere in the country. But I suppose rest assured that Hertfordshire Constabulary's SIO and their operational team are doing everything they possibly can within their power to bring him into custody. But as we've said time and time again, if Mr. Clifford is listening to these new broadcasts, it's important that he does the right thing, hands himself in and ends this incident sooner rather than later.
And Oliver, the choice of weapon here, a crossbow, is particularly striking. It's not something we hear too often as a weapon of choice. What might that tell us about this suspect?
It's a horrific choice of weapon. I think any weapon used in a homicide is horrific, and certainly the circumstances in which one would have to imagine he would have had to have reloaded that weapon potentially to kill all 3 ladies. So sounds quite cold-blooded, very, very violent, and certainly quite terrifying to know that that sort of individual is currently at large within our communities. But I'm very optimistic that the police will locate him sooner rather than later and have him in police custody. But very, very disturbing events, Emily.
It's very hard to think about what could be going through this individual's mind. Clearly quite a disturbed individual. But after killing 3 people who were related to one another, I suppose a big question on people's lips will be, will he kill again?
They'll also be asking, was this individual known to police? Now, I don't want to use any excuse of mental health issues or other ailments that he may be suffering from, but this obviously is a dreadfully terrifying episode. One has to wonder what his thoughts were prior to, during and after this event, and those will be the pieces of this very complex jigsaw that the police will be putting together through their forensic examination of the property, speaking to neighbours, witnesses and other family members, trying to build a picture up of who is Carl Clifford. What is his background? How has he been in the days leading up to this? What is sort of those antecedents of an individual that would behave in such an abhorrent manner, allegedly last night whilst police were called to his address?
And Oliver, unfortunately, on this programme, we do too often report on homicides and violent crime. We don't often, always at least, get a photo of the prime suspect so quickly. The police clearly took this decision very quickly indeed. Surely that's the right one.
No, I totally agree with that, because I think what it does is often in investigations like this, it's really important to manage the expectations of the media. It's really important to reassure the community that the police investigation is fast moving. It's moving in the right direction. They've identified a person of significant interest. And obviously there is an element of public safety, which is of great concern to the police. And they want to reassure the community that they're doing everything they possibly can to locate him. And obviously the police rely heavily on the community to report sightings and potential interactions they may have with him, but importantly, not approaching him. So I think it was a very good decision by the police to release these images and information early, which will help them, no doubt, in trying to locate Mr. Clifford very quickly and bring him into police custody.
And in your experience of cases like these, how might they have arrived upon the idea that it is Kyle Clifford who is this prime suspect? It seems quite hard to sort of understand unless he was someone who was already known to the police and through DNA evidence or whatever else it might have been, how this person could be so quickly connected to a crime that took place last night.
So there could be a myriad of different ways that that's compiled, Tom. It could be through historical knowledge, as you said, in terms of his antecedents. He may have been known to police. There may be active matters that he's currently linked to in terms of those family members. It can come from witness accounts from next door neighbours who may have heard arguments or disputes between parties. It could be messages found on telephones and other forensic evidence, which has led them to no other means of identifying an individual who is in the vicinity. You know, the house may have had Ring doorbells, CCTV cameras. There could be a number of different elements which have allowed the police to very quickly form the basis of their decision to identify Mr. Clifford as being the person who they want to speak to in connection with this horrific attack.
And just 26 years old, this prime suspect. We know that men are statistically more likely to commit a violent crime, more likely to commit murder. 26 years old, I mean, it's hard to talk about what's common when it comes to homicide and these violent crimes, but is that a normal age, an unusually young age for someone to commit such a brutal crime?
Sadly, I mean, I don't think there is an age classification for any homicide these days. These are horrific events. They have a horrific impact on the family and the loved ones of those that have died as a result of these horrific acts. 26 is a life-changing event for this Mr. Clifford. He's made a decision. They have consequences. Hopefully now he makes the right ones in the coming hours to present himself before police so that they can start to ask him the serious questions as to what happened, how it came about, and to hold somebody, if not him, accountable for these abhorrent actions.
Well, thank you very much indeed.